Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to look at the subreddit r/entitledparents, where people tell us their stories of crazy mums and dads who think they're entitled just because they have kids. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy some Reddit stories. Entitled mother thinks reserved for customer with kids parking spots aren't for me and my child. This happened this past weekend while grocery shopping with my 18-month-old child. Not as bad as some of the others in this sub, but I thought it belonged here. The town I live in has a big community fest each year on the main street. It's a typical New England type of main street that it's actually two different one-way streets with a big field in the middle. The small number of available parking spots around the area are usually taken up by the vendors. So the town offers shuttle service from the local grocery store, which is about a mile away. This in turn makes parking tough at the grocery store, so I made sure to get there early. The store has parking for customers with children spots in a couple rows. It's pretty convenient because it's 4 spots on one side with a cart pickup return in the middle. Instead of trying to carry my kid, the diaper bag, and the reusable shopping bags into the store to grab a cart, they're right there. All this is important. Players are me, entitled mother, and store manager. I was lucky enough to grab one of the kids' spots Saturday morning, which was great because there weren't many other spots available, if any. I was in the process of loading my kid into the cart when it started. Excuse me? Me go about my business because I have no idea she's talking to me. Excuse me? I look around and realize she's talking to me. What's up? You parked in the wrong spot. I gesture to the sign. These are for customers with children. At this point, I gear myself up for an argument about how they're not for dads with children, which is a disagreement a friend of mine said he got into once. It says children, but you have one child. Children means 2 or more. I smile. I think we both know it just means customers who have their kid with them. It means customers with 2 children or more. You have to park somewhere else. I start pushing my cart and child towards the store. I'm not moving. Entitled mother starts shrieking, and I mean shrieking, to the point where it made my child jump. That spot is not for you and your one kid. It's for people like me with 2 kids. At this point, I decided to stop engaging and just get into the store. I'm not trying to get into a parking lot dispute with my 18-month-old child with me. Hell no. I was almost there when she started blasting the horn, not just beeping it, but laying onto it. So it was just a constant horn sound. Get your car out of that spot or I'll have the manager tow it. I got into the store just as the manager was heading out. He heard the yelling and beeping and asked what was happening. I told him the truth. Some crazy lady was angry because I parked in the spot for customers with kids. He looked at me, looked at my child, and then back outside, where entitled mother had just parked across 2 handicapped parking spots. Out of her SUV climbed 2 children who looked to be about 10 to 12 years old. The store manager sees this and runs outside. Ma'am, you can't park in the handicapped spot without a handicap sticker. You'll get a ticket. I don't care. There's no other spots since some douchebag is taking up the kid parking spots with only 1 kid. At this point, the doors close and I couldn't hear anything else. Thankfully, I didn't run into her while shopping, which was probably a small miracle. 45 minutes later, I was heading out the door and see a cop parked next to the lady's SUV and he's writing her a ticket. The state I'm in is a $150 fine for the first violation and $250 for any after that. I'm not sure if taking 2 spots equals 2 fines, but she's probably lucky her car wasn't towed. Hopefully the cop wrote 2 tickets, one for $150 and one for $250. I don't understand though, even if it was for multiple children, surely it means children who need like strollers or prams or whatever to try and get out, because just because you have children, you could be like a 60-year-old with 30-year-old kids, like you're not gonna get those spots. You can't work here if you're pregnant. I'm a cocktail waitress. I'm 7 months pregnant. No, obviously I don't drink while pregnant, or drink on the job ever. A woman, the Karen, comes in with what I'm assuming was her husband and son and daughter, and asks to be seated 4 for lunch. We're not really a restaurant, but we have a really small sandwich and wings menu. I give them menus, and Karen says, "But wait, do you work here?" "Yep." "But you're pregnant. You can't work here if you're pregnant." "I work here. I don't drink here," I say, with a laugh, trying to keep the mood light. The woman looks me over and says, "Have you taken any prenatal courses? Do you really think that's responsible to have your unborn baby in here?" This is where I made an error. I get defensive about anyone asserting I'm a bad mother, obviously. So I said, "Well, you've brought your kids in here." "Yes, and what kind of example do you think you're setting for them?" I'm still collecting my thoughts at this point when they grunt and wave me away. I figure I can kiss my tip goodbye, but hopefully that'll be the end of a discussion. I see them flagging down the bartender after a few minutes, and figure they're ready, so go over. Karen asks to speak to a manager. Now, they haven't even got their drinks yet, so I ask if there's anything I can help them with, and her husband, Mr. Karen, says really sternly, "No, just a manager. Didn't you hear my wife?" The place is too small for a manager. It's just servers and bartenders and 2 owners. The one who's working is in the back on a phone call and will be angry if I go and bother her. I realize maybe they're still uncomfortable with me being pregnant, so say, maybe Ella, the other server, can help? Karen gets up to physically look for the manager. I admit defeat and go back and drag her off her call. The owner goes over with a big smile and asks if there's anything she can help them with. "Your server is pregnant." Owner says she's aware and asks if they'd prefer a different server. "No, no, no, she can't be a drink girl if she's pregnant. That's child abuse." I assure you, none of our employees drink on the clock, especially not our pregnant ones. If you'd prefer, I can have Ella serve you. "I don't want my kids seeing this." Maybe I'm missing something. Seeing what exactly? Mr. Karen, talking really slowly and condescendingly, "A pregnant woman around all this alcohol." I don't know what you're insinuating, but I would never drink during pregnancy. "Look, honey, didn't you take a health class in junior high? With a drink right under you half the time, alcohol vapor is absorbed into your blood through the air, and then that blood goes to the fetus and poisons it." Owner and I exchange a look and realize we won't get anywhere with her. So, we can have Ella serve you, or I'm afraid there's not much else we can do. "We're not leaving until she's fired." We can't help you. "I'll call the police. You're an accomplice to child abuse." There is no child abuse to speak of, sir. Please leave. Karen, getting crocodile teary. "You may not think a fetus is a child, but I was taught to believe life begins at conception, and I will stand up for all living things, big and small, because that is what my Lord and Savior wants me to do." The entire time she's delivering this tearful speech, she's looking around, expecting others to, I don't know, join in with her? Applaud? You're disturbing my customers, and if you don't leave, you're trespassing, and I'll have to escalate this, which I really don't want to do. Jesus is love, and Jesus said this is not okay. Just because you think it's okay to abuse a child, if it's small enough. This is an Irish pub, and the owners are devout Catholics. She wasn't having any of this. Hey, I don't need anyone to tell me what Jesus said. If there was abuse here, I'd have acted to stop it, but there isn't any. I need you to please leave." "I'm calling the police." "Do that." We just stop trying to service their table. As we all wait for the cops to arrive, Karen keeps trying to give her sermon, but there was a game on that people had come to watch, and eventually everyone yelled at her until she piped down. Enter Awesome Officers, AO1 and AO2. Awesome Officer 1 states the town name and police department. "Is there a Mr. Karen in here somewhere?" "Right here, officers." "You said you were witnessing child abuse. Are the parties involved still in the bar?" They point me out. I pretend not to notice because I'm worried they'll take them outside and I won't be able to watch any more fireworks. So what exactly was going on? That woman was drinking. She's pregnant. You can plainly see she's very pregnant. Before I can go over and tell them she's lying about my drinking, the officers look at each other and look back at the Karen family. "That's not illegal." "What?" "Look here now. It's definitely not recommended, but it isn't illegal. Now, do you know the woman? Is she a friend of yours? Family? She works here, in a bar, and she's pregnant. I want to see this place's liquor license revoked." So, listen. She isn't doing anything illegal. What I can do is I will talk to her, but we can't take any action beyond that. Is there anything else you observed that you'd like to report? So Awesome Officer number 2 comes over to me and takes me to a quiet spot while Awesome Officer number 1 is getting their personal information and taking the rest of the statement. Karen is crying again, and I assume bemoaning, being the last bastion of good Christian morality in this bar. Awesome Officer 2 introduces himself and congratulated me on the pregnancy, and says I probably overheard why they were called, and starts to offer me some public resources for new mothers, parenting classes, etc. I didn't want to interrupt him, so was waiting for the right moment to interject with my innocence. That's when patrons come over, thinking I'm in trouble, and start defending me. We have plenty of regulars who know me, and they would not let this BS stand. They even complained to the officers that the owner had asked the Karen party to leave, and they'd continue to make a scene. So, Awesome Officers go talk to the owner, who said she was just about to call them, but sirens outside are bad for business, and she was hoping the Karens would eventually leave on their own. The officers tell the Karen party they need to leave. "This is a public place. I have every right to be here if I want." "No sir, this is a private business, and the business owners have asked you to leave. It sounds like more than once, but at least once since we've been here. This is a disgrace. This is an affront to scripture and child safety, and I understand you're upset. Let's talk about it outside." He places a hand on Mr. Karen and gives him a firm look. This next part was said as Mr. Karen walks out backwards so he can keep yelling at us, but bumping into things every step of the way. "I'll be contacting the authorities about your liquor license. I happen to be close personal friends with the mayor, and you two, I want badge numbers. Don't think we're done here because we haven't even started." So the officers took them out, and as it was told to me by a regular who left around the same time, walked the Karens to their car, which was illegally parked in a handicapped space, for which they were ticketed. They did make a complaint to the liquor authority, claiming among many other things that we served minors and we were investigated, but obviously came up fine. My boss asked me to hold off sharing this story with anyone until the matter was settled, but now it is, so had to share, still laughing about it. How dumb can this Karen be? She thinks that the alcohol can be absorbed in the air? What? Does that mean if you walk around at night and you don't drink, then you're just going to absorb all that alcohol? Say goodbye to designated drivers right there. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.